In that case, you are playing the role of a manager. So one person may wear different hats. Right. Okay. You are playing different roles within the same organization. That is why you have been grouped into different organizations based on the requirement, based on the function that we are doing. Like, if we do not need to have a region, then we will not create a region. But company, etc. Those are important from the payroll perspective, from a logical entity perspective. Even though we are doing an HCM implementation, we are still creating the company. Okay. But for the controller accountant, those kind of roles will be important when we do our finance implementation. Other than that, we don't really care. Oh, that person will not have a role in the finance organization. Yeah, got it. That person will not have a role there because that person is not going to do any financial transactions. Okay. Apart from maybe creating some reimbursement reports. But then we can assign a company. Of course, yes, because the payroll will be done by the company. You are grouping that worker by that company. We all belong to a company, right? Yeah, I mean, if you think of your current organization, you all belong to a company. And sometimes even the offer letters are sent out on the basis of the company. Yes. Got it. You are tagged to a location, you are belonging to a supervisory organization, you belong to a region. You belong to a cost center. One worker will belong to multiple different organization types, each with a different purpose. Right, that's what we learned. So one worker will belong to two different organization types. Yes. Does all the workers of a supervisory organization have to belong to the same company? No. The answer is no. They don't have to. Why not? Can you give me an example? Anyone. Let's think about the Microsoft Research and Development Division, right? We may have heard about it. Microsoft Research and Development Department, so it is spread across multiple countries. It has its headquarters, maybe in the US. It also has a division in Europe. It has a big office out here in India. And, of course, in Singapore and maybe in some other parts of the world. I don't know all the centers. So somebody who is working in that research division, let's say they're working on Microsoft Office products, right? So the Microsoft Office development team happens to be in the US, in India, and, let's say, Singapore. 3 different countries they're working from. It's a team of, let's say, 80 people. So of 80 people team, they have 20 people in the US, 30 people in India, and maybe another 30 people in Singapore. So how will you group them together? They're all reporting to one manager who is the head of the Research and Development Division for Microsoft Office. So you have one manager for Microsoft Office, okay. So how many supervisory organizations then? If you have one manager, how many supervisory organizations? 2. Why 2? One that he manages, right, one manager, one supervisory organization. We don't need to create more than one, right? So one supervisory organization, we put in all the 80 people. As part of that, one supervisory organization. Now the 80 people in that supervisory organization? Are they belonging to the same company? Need not. Need not. Well, you'd say, yeah, all of them are Microsoft employees. But yes, I agree. All of them are Microsoft employees. But are all of them employees of the same company entity? The people in the US. They are part of Microsoft Inc. In the US. People in India are part of Microsoft India Private Limited. People in Singapore are part of Microsoft PGE Limited. The Microsoft India and Microsoft Singapore are wholly owned subsidiaries of Microsoft Inc. In the US. That is fine. But they are different entities. The people in India. They don't have their payroll coming from Microsoft US. They have their payroll from Microsoft India. The people in the Singapore. They will have their payroll from Microsoft Singapore. Isn't it? That's what happens, right? Isn't it? Right. But they are all part of the same supervisory organization, which is the Microsoft Office Research and Development Team, reporting to one single manager. Global organizations of today are structured in this particular manner. You will have supervisory organizations where you will have people from different countries. Okay. And they will report to one manager. The manager may be in the same country, may be in a different country. If it is in a different country, they will be associated with a different company. Because whenever an organization opens up an office in a particular country, they have to register themselves. It will be a different legal entity. It can happen in the same country. Yes. If it is a company which doesn't have offices in different, or maybe, yeah, it can be a single country operation. Yes. Then everybody will be in the same country. Okay, if you have offices in different districts, will you create different companies for each and every district? The region we can create, I think. Locations we can. Will you have 8BC Corporation Alabama, 8BC Corporation, California, 8BC Corporation, the New York, ABC, Connecticut? Will you have different companies in each of these states? No, not necessary. Then, if you do not have physical companies, why would you create the company? Object. So, as per my understanding, if I have a different locations if I have companies in different countries and different states, then only I should create the companies. Yes. It will because it will, the companies are legal. I think legal things will be different for each company or service. States or countries. But we create different companies. Correct. I was just giving you an example which is the most common. Like let's say, okay, and even if you have different entities, like different divisions, let's say, a YouTube department versus a Google Maps department versus, let's say, an Android division, right? So they may not have people shared across them. So they may not be part of the same supervisory organization. I was using the example where there is an overlap. People of the same supervisory organization, but they're part of different companies. That's why I was using mostly on the basis of the location, right? But even in the same country, you may have different business units. Right. Like, let's say, the YouTube division. Yes, that is a separate legal entity. Wholly owned by the Alphabet Inc. But still the YouTube may be registered as a different company. Right. The Google Maps may be registered as a different company. Maybe there is something else. The Android may be registered as a different entity. Yeah, it can be. Depends on how they have structured their organization. So, based on that, we will create the hierarchical structure. Okay. Varies from implementation to implementation. Varies from customer to customer, so we know that these are some of the things that we can do. So when we talk to the company, then we understand how they are structured. So that is what we will use to create their company structure. These are the tools that we have. The company hierarchy. Company. These are the objects that we can create. How will we create it? Or is it one size fits all? Is it the one solution that will be applicable for everybody? The answer is no. We have to look at the company, I mean the organization whom we are implementing work before. We have to look at, okay, what is their structure? Based on that, we will create the hierarchy structure. Okay. But it is possible for a supervisory organization to have people from multiple companies. All right. So now we have created a company.